Should you refinance now or wait for rates to go even lower? This is a question that I'm getting a lot right now. Every single day people ask me this because it's on their mind. Should I go ahead and pull the trigger, or is it going to get even better? Now, no one has a crystal ball. We can't predict what the future is going to bring. And the fact of the matter is rates are up just a hair compared to what they were a couple weeks ago after the Fed rate cut. This is just crazy because a lot of people thought rates would go down after the Fed, mortgage rates would go down after the Fed cut rates, and the opposite happened. Rates actually went up just a hair. So we don't know if rates are going to actually go down in the future. We also don't know if they're going to go up because no one has a crystal ball. So I wanted to talk about the cost of waiting in the sense of waiting to refinance. How much would that cost you to miss the opportunity now versus waiting for rates to go lower? But before I get into that, a couple quick concepts. The first one is when you're looking at refinancing, it's really a function of what the cost is to do the refinance, in my opinion. So you got to look at what the closing costs are and how long that break-even period is. This is why I like to keep closing costs very, very low on refinances. That way the break-even period is short, only a few months or maybe 6 months. And then you can just roll into another refinance if it makes sense. If rates keep going down, just do it again. And then if they end up going up, you're protected because you've locked in that lower interest rate. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that it's common for lenders, especially loan servicers, the lender that holds your mortgage right now, to quote really low interest rates, but the closing costs are extremely high. So this is an important thing to understand because they won't explain that the closing costs are high. They'll just say, well, you have to bring zero to closing. So, that's great. But the thing is they're rolling in all these super high fees to get that low interest rate. So even though the interest rate and payment difference makes sense, your break even is going to be many, many years to recover that high cost of refinancing. So let's take a look at the cost of waiting, closing costs aside, if you're going to be waiting for a lower interest rate. So this is an example of a client of mine that I talked to recently who has a loan amount of $340,000 at 6.875. The monthly payment, principal and interest, is $22.34. Now, currently, they could get down to a 5.99 interest rate, and the loan amount is $341,500, and the principal and interest payment is $2,045. That means they're going to take a nice $188 per month off of their payment. Now, if the closing costs are low, that doesn't take very long to recover that. That's a pretty decent chunk off the payment. But if they wait, let's say they're going to wait for rates to go to 5.5%. Now, we don't know how long that's going to take or if we're ever going to even get that. But let's say it takes 6 months, theoretically, hypothetical. That means that because they haven't been saving the $188 per month for those 6 months, they've lost out on $1,130 worth of savings over that 6 months. And then the difference in payment, the payment's $100 a month lower than if they would have done it at 5.99, but it's going to take 11 months to recover that cost of waiting, that $1,130, to recover that in the form of the lower payments. So in this scenario, this is a 17-month where they would have been in the same position if they would have just gone ahead and done the refinance now. And again, with low closing costs, they could just do it again. Here's another example of someone I talked to recently where their current loan is at 564 at 564,000, 6.99 rate. They would take 377 off their payment by refinancing at 5.875. But if they wait, let's say we wait for 5.5%, and it takes 6 months to get there, they've lost 2261 in opportunity cost of waiting, which would take 17 months to recover because in the form of that lower payment. So that means, in other words, it would take them 23 months to be in the same position they would be if they'd go ahead and refinance now. So I hope that helps you guys out to kind of wrap your head around the concept of going ahead and pulling the trigger if the refinance makes sense right now. Now, if you want an honest assessment of your situation, I'll tell you what's going on, like as far as if it makes sense or not right now, because it may not. Give me a call. Happy to answer your questions, and we can really crunch the numbers on exactly what it looks like in your situation. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot.